Hey there, folks. As I may have highlighted in some previous videos, I did want to come back here and uh, spend a little time showing you folks collaborate on Blackboard. Um, with the changes this semester, one of the ways that we're going to have to meet as a group of individuals is using what we call Collaborate, or Blackboard's Collaborate. So what I did do here is I have signed into Blackboard. You're going to want to sign into Blackboard yourself, right? Blackboard.lc.edu will bring you into Blackboard. I'm showing this video for all my courses here on Blackboard. My 131 courses, as well as my Calc 2 and Calc 3. I'll share this video with you folks too, because we're all going to be using Blackboard this semester. But I am going to focus in here in illustrating this in my college algebra for those college algebra folks. But calculus folks, this is very, very similar, or going to be very, very similar for you. If I click into one of my courses here, what I've done in all my courses is you'll notice over on the left-hand menu I've been adding some tabs. And one of the newest tabs I'll just point out real quick, and this was noted in the recent announcement that I just sent out earlier today, 326, was that I added the YouTube video section tab over here on the left-hand side. I'm not going to embed videos into the course content. If I add anything, I will add them over here into the YouTube video section. If you click on there, that is where I do have at least one folder now for course just informational videos. That's where I'll share this video. And you'll notice I have another video in there just kind of going through the changes this semester. So make sure you go back and you watch that video, folks, before you perhaps jump into this video. But I will be sharing videos with you hopefully throughout the semester, and I'll do that underneath this YouTube video section. I am planning on adding another folder here looking at, well, sharing with you more college algebra or calculus related material depending on what course you're in. If I... well, what I want to actually spend the time showing you, though, is Collaborate. As I had noted in a previous video, let me turn edit mode off here. And highlighted in my previous video for you, some of you folks, is that I did add this link, or this tab, my Collaborate schedule, where I've laid out some times throughout the week that we're going to be able to meet as a group in what is called Collaborate. Collaborate is really, like I said, kind of like an online chat system where we can meet and look at, well, the math that we're dealing with, right, in our different coursework. I did put some notes here up at the top. I'll let you read through that. But you'll notice on Monday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Thursday, I do have some respective schedules. For my college algebra folks, I do have the times laid out to focus on your questions from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday and Wednesdays, and from 9 to 10 and 1 to 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Certainly, college algebra folks, you're welcome to attend any of these 3 sessions throughout the week. And I do have them listed for an hour, and if we need to go over that time, we can spend some time going over. Well, we can go beyond these 1 hour time limits, but I did want to not occupy or think that I was going to occupy your time for a full 2 hours. I don't plan on doing that. I know you have a lot of studies that are going to happen on your own time here, so I am trying to free up some of that time also for that. Calculus folks, you can see here on Monday and Wednesday I did devote the afternoon and evening to you for some time. Certainly, again, Calc 2 and Calc 3 folks, you're welcome to jump into an earlier time, but I am going to try to focus, and into my college algebra times, but I am going to try to make sure I focus my attention to the individuals that are in either college algebra respectively, or in a Calc 2 or Calc 3 course respectively. And then in general, everybody is able to come and ask questions, and it's really more of a first come, first serve service for my Collaborate office hours that I have here on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. And if there's other times that we can schedule some Collaborate time, we can do that. Now, one of the things you'll notice here with each of these times is I did share a link This link will persist throughout the semester. Hopefully, I'm not going to have to change it for these different course times. But to access the course, right? That if you're coming in for example, we're going to start this next Monday, and Monday morning, my Monday morning college algebra might be checking in with me for the week, and one of the way you might jump here into this Collaborate course by logging into Blackboard, coming over to the Collaborate schedule, and just clicking on this link. Now you'll notice if you click on the link now, it will tell you that there are no sessions in session currently running here. This is not to start to occurring until March 30th at 10 a.m. So one of the things I did do here is I set up a kind of a mock example for this Collaborate session. Well, hold on here. One of the things I need to do, a couple of things. Let me go ahead and log into Collaborate as I would a faculty member. As you can see here, I have put these on my schedule as times to run. And I'm going to go ahead, this is the example one I just set up for you folks. I'm going to go ahead and join this session. Right? What I am joining as is as a faculty member. One of the first things that is going to kind of pop up for you, it is going to pop up asking you about your microphone, and I'm going to go ahead and add my mic here. Even though I don't think I'm going to use it in this session, it's going to cause some feedback. I'm not using my headphone mic. But I'll go ahead and hit allow for the microphone. That way I can communicate in the session using my mic versus having to type out my communication with you folks in the chat window. You're going to most likely want to either use a microphone. It'll just save you from having to type out all of your questions and your concerns as we work through these problems. And if you don't have a microphone, I do believe Blackboard is really good at recognizing what you do have available on your computer and what you don't. And if it recognizes that you don't have a microphone, one of the ways that you will be able to use voice communication in Blackboard is through your telephone. What it should present you with, if it recognizes you don't have a microphone, is an option to dial in, right, using a cell phone, a smart device. And I don't know if that actually works for a physical landline either. I may have to check in on that, and you folks can certainly try. But if you have a smart telephone or certainly just a cell phone, you'd be able to dial in with that number that it's going to provide you with. And I do think it is I don't think it's technically jumping into the cellular system. I do think it's going to dial in through the internet. So that's some things to keep in mind there. I don't know what the charges would be. I don't think there are any charges if it connects through the internet, but don't quote me on any of that, folks. But it would give you a way to provide some voice communication and kind of act like a microphone for you in Blackboard here, in Collaborate. Now, when I log in, you can see here I get this blank window here. If I open up there's a couple of key locations. You do have this menu system down here on the right, what we call the Collaborate panel. And if we open that up, you will see that's where you will find your chat room. And that's what's highlighted here with this talk bubble. You will see your attendees, right? I can see who is actually in the room over here and respective commands that I can access for each of those attendees. There is a way that I can currently set this up to share some content with you and either do some polling, asking you questions that as a group, or actually breaking up into smaller groups, as well as some other settings that I have access to as a moderator in the system. Your folks would be a little different. I'll show you that in a moment. What you might also have access to is this more general window over here. This is the session menu window. Here's where you would be able to use your phone for audio. That comes up, report any issues, and see some help if you happen to need that, or even access the leave session option. All right, but let me go ahead. This is what it looks like for me on my end. Let me go ahead and jump over and show you what it would look like for you on your end, folks. What I did set up here was just a quick little mock link, and I should be able to link up here with this. Right here, it's going to go ahead and log me into Blackboard. Blackboard Collaborate. You'll notice the first thing it'll ask you for is a name. I do ask that you use your name that you've been putting on your tests and your quizzes, and how I'm familiar with you in class. That way I know who I am speaking with in the Collaborate system here, folks. But once you get your name into place, maybe I'll go ahead and just highlight this is the case for where I am the student, an example as the student, and go ahead and hit join session. And it'll drop me in there as a student. Again, it's going to try to recognize voice communication. I'm going to go ahead and allow that. Right? But you will notice here that in voice communicate, if you don't have a microphone, again, I do think you can use your phone for audio here, folks. And if you click on that, it will give you a dial-in number as well as a pin to be able to actually use your phone as a microphone in the system. I would not worry so much about webcam, folks. I don't think we're going to be using any webcams in here. It does eat up a lot of bandwidth to have access to webcams, and it can be just distracting at times. So I don't expect to use the webcam too often, but the microphone is certainly going to be something we use quite a bit. Right? Again, what you will notice over here on your Collaborate panel is you do have the chat bubble. Right? There is no one else in the room, but let me see here. I think, I've left the session. That's why it's not showing up for me. Let me go ahead and jump back in here. Join session. Oh, wait. Yeah, never mind. I was already logged in here. All right, there I am as a student. There I am as a moderator. And I don't know why I'm not showing. I do show up on the attendees list. Oh, I know why. I'm just not typing anything. If I go back as a student here and I say something like, hello world, right? And hit enter. That will come up on the chat. Right there is hello world. That is where I am as a student. And if I go back and I look at it as a faculty, I do see that message does appear. And I can respond, right? Hello, student. Now, for some reason, I know what this is. This is my actual student window, and I'm looking at the moderator's picture here, whereas I am the moderator looking back here at the student's picture. I see the difference here. So I do want to make sure that I watch out for that here as I move forward in this demonstration. So here is my student window. If you will go back and notice, there's not much you can do over here on the side. You can send a chat message personally to me if you don't want to send one actually through the system itself. But if I'm working with others, folks, I may not always see these, so keep that in mind. In terms of share content, you're not going to be able to share anything right away. I would actually have to open those options for you in the attendee panel so that you'd be able to share things as a student. In terms of settings, again, you can set up your camera and microphone. You can adjust your speaker volume. You are given that dial-in number again if you want to use that as your microphone, as well as some other notification settings for pop-ups. While like in chat and whatnot, if somebody was to send a chat message, you were in one of these other functions, it would pop up here on the side. So just take note. These are the default settings here. Let me show you what I can do as a faculty here and some of the things that we're going to be able to do. Like I said, I'm able to share documents with you. One of the things I'll be able to do is open up a whiteboard window here where you will see that I get some menu options over here where we can draw on this window. So we'd certainly be able to communicate with some pictures perhaps on this window. With you as a student, right? You would see this draw window, but you wouldn't lose the erase option. You wouldn't have the option necessary to erase over here. You would see as a student, though, if I've given you access, you would also be able to write here on this window, right? Even though that you are a student, you'd be able to share in on that experience here, right? That does become an option that's available to you. Unfortunately, though, you wouldn't be able to erase anything, right? In order to erase, I have to be over on the faculty option. I can actually clear it, and when I do clear it, I do have to clear everything, folks. There's just one way to erase, and it clears everything. Now, another thing I can do over here is I can share files with you, folks. For instance, I might come in here and share some files. I recently downloaded. It's going to let me upload that PDF. It should. All right. That PDF, right, was added. So over here in the faculty member window, I can come over and click on that PDF, hit share now, and I can actually pull that document up on the screen here. Now here's some visual controls to help zoom in on the document so that you can read through that. I can use the markers here to actually annotate on the document if I so desired. And you would see it over here on your end also, folks. I don't think you're actually able to actually click on the document. There doesn't appear to be much you can do over here. What I would have to do is share this with you through Blackboard. But if you were given the option, you'd also be able to annotate on that document, highlighting what you would need to. And you could zoom in, get the best fit, or make it a one-to-one, right, compared to with what I'm looking at, right? Or even zoom in further. So that is as a student view over here. Other things that I can do here as well as share documents with you in this manner. I can go back in here. What's going on? Oh, close out a share file. And along with the whiteboard and the sharing files, folks, I can also share an application screen with you. For instance, here I might share. Well, I know what I want to do here. Maybe we'll share my Firefox screen. Ooh. Hold on here. Yeah, let me go ahead and just go to screen 1 for now and allow that. Now, notice that does, it's not the best way to do this, folks, by sharing the screen. What I actually should have done here is go in and make another window. Maybe I'll log into my Blackboard here, right, for your course. Let me go back in here. Let me stop sharing this for the moment, and let's share course notification page for that Blackboard course. All right, so I'll bring that up. And what it is now sharing with you folks is, and what I'm broadcasting to you folks is the actual Blackboard course here that you have access to online. If you go back and you look at a student example, I'd have to flip over to that, right, and show you what you would see on the student side. This is what you would see on the student side of things, right? There is a little bit of lag here, but not terribly, depending on how many people we get on here. Again, this is the issue with video, is it does cause a bit of a laggy scenario. I did jump on here so I could grab some course content. Maybe I go down and show you that what I could do is if we had questions, for instance, over rational functions, I could jump into here, bring up the notes, and address those notes either through the Blackboard system, right? If I wanted to, then I could even say, well, let's let's bring these over. So I just want to download them. We might actually consider bringing that set of notes over into our collaborate session, right? And make it something that we share, right? Instead of trying to look at it online, I could always bring over a set of notes this way and share it with you. See how long that takes to show up. Oh yeah, I don't think we're going to see it this way. Takes a little while here. Let's let it convert. Oh, there we go. You can see I can go right into that and hit share now. And I can bring that up as something then we can actually annotate on. I can point this out and say, yeah, here's our example, or here's the definition. Here is the leading terms, the ratio of the leading terms. Here's the ratio of the constants. I'd be able to highlight those things, folks. And you'd be able to do the same. If I was to give you access to the whiteboard, you'd be able to come back here as a student and say, well, you know, I don't understand what you mean by this statement here, and we could highlight it. All right. And then another thing I could also do with you as a student, if there was something specific that you wanted to share with us, is I can always come over here and actually make a student into what we call a presenter, right? If I was to make a student into a presenter, what that student would be able to do then is present some information. If I go back and look at that students menu now, right, here I am in the students menu, and go underneath share content, they would actually have access to sharing all of the things that that I'm able to present with as a moderator or as a presenter here. You know, they'd be able to share their screen respectively. They'd be able to share their files respectively, and so forth, folks, right? Or open up files that I've already shared with and to go back and reference. So these are some ways that we can work together here, folks, to kind of to work through and meet with each other to go over this math material. This was, again, just a quick little introduction to collaborate. I don't want you to be too fearful of it. It is someplace that I want you to realize is out there and available to you, and I want you to take advantage of it. I think one of my expectations is that I am going to expect you to log into at least one of these sessions a week, right? I would like for you to try to log into one of these sessions a week. I'm not necessarily going to be keeping track of that, but like I said, also in my expectations is if I don't hear from you or see from you, I assume everything is all right and that you're doing quite well in the course and that you have no problems. But if you're dealing with issues in the course, you definitely have this means of communication, and you have those devoted times to come in and communicate with me. If I was to make any changes to these times, I'd certainly take note of that in the schedule, where you actually would find the link to this. Again, remember where the link is at, is if you log into your Blackboard page, over underneath the Collaborate schedule, you will find those links. If I happen to have to, for the given week, change around a time, I might come into this schedule here and make note of those changes just for that given week, folks. So bear with me as we work through all this, but this is certainly a good place to begin working with one another. There is this Collaborate Classroom also as a link. I just put that there. I don't think we're going to be in there too often. This is really course specific. Only the students from Math 130, 103 can access this classroom, where what I'm trying to do with the schedule is make it open to all my students with a focus on those students that are, with those classes that are listed at those times. But again, any student is welcome to jump into any one of these classrooms and work with me if no one else is available or no one else is logged in for that given time or date. Folks, I hope you're all doing well, hanging in there. I'll post this video up, and I do probably have a couple other videos that I'm going to want to share with you. I know we're going to have our at least in our college algebra class, we have test 3 coming this week that we return. And with some of the things I've highlighted there, I'm going to want to go go through some direction with you. And it might be the easiest way to do that is with a video. So stay tuned, folks, and I will talk to you then.